Hey everybody, how you doing? It's lunchtime, so you know what that means. It's lunchtime talk with Steve. All right, today we have Juancito, and he is running for commissioner in the city of North Miami Beach. All right, so go ahead and share out the link, share out everything, and we'll be right back with Juancito in just a moment. Okay? All right, cool. Okay, here we are. We are back. I'm just sending it out to a couple more people. All right, so we are going to have Juancito in here with us in just a second, and he is running for the. Actually, let me let him talk and let him explain to you what he is doing. Okay, Juancito, are you there?
Steve, it is good afternoon. It is my pleasure to join your
Good afternoon.
platform.
How you doing?
It is my pleasure, brother. Regardless the
Your audio is your audio is breaking up. Can you hear me?
I'm here. I hear you very clear.
Okay, your audio was breaking up a little bit.
Yes, like I said, it is my pleasure to join your platform. Um, it's a good privilege to be on your show. As far as my life, I'm so happy. Regardless, the COVID-19 is out there. God always bless me, and I'm still here. I'm fighting for the people.
All right, awesome, awesome. So you're running for what position in North Miami?
Basically, I'm running for City Council District 3 in North Miami, which is the election gonna be held in May in 2021. It's a very important election for City North Miami because of the issues we have to solve in the city. We don't need any politician. We need a public servant. In the middle of the show, I will explain what I do understand by politician and what I do understand by public servant. There's a huge difference between public servant and politician.
Mhm. So explain to us a little bit about that difference and explain why you are the candidate that they should vote for.
Basically, I'm a resident of the city of North Miami, meaning that I live, meaning that I have my business in the same area. So I have 100% of interest in the city of North Miami, meaning that whatever I plan to do, I'm gonna be the first beneficiary of it. And
So,
the reason I won for the city is because I've seen many problems, unsolved problems. Like, let's say the city, it is not trustable. That means there's no transparency on how they operate the city in the city. So I believe we need to bring the government to the people because
mhm.
they are the one who pay taxes. They are the boss who hired us. So therefore, I believe things has a better way to be done.
Okay, so what are your plans to make the city better? How would you change the things that you see wrong right now in the city?
Okay. Let's say last couple weeks there was bad weather.
Mhm.
Water was everywhere. We paid tax for the draining area, and we could see in my district it was flooded everywhere. So how could we take the taxpayer money and spend it in the right way to fix those problems? Secondly, there is a problem with the trash holding department. They privatize the trash holding department with the company who give us a bad service. We, as a resident, we tell the people that we hired, we don't like this service they offered us. But because there is profit on the contract, they still keep them because they come and pick up the trash when they want, and once they pick up the trash, they put the bins on the street. They don't care about that. So we need a better service. This is what I propose. I propose to bring the trash holding department in house to impact better service as a first impact. Second impact, we will create jobs, quality jobs for people who live in the city to be able to pay tax and to be able to stay in the city they say they love.
Right now, the trash is done by who? By the county or who does the trash right now?
Uh, Basically, who does the trash right now? The contract signed in 2013 by Westport Management, which is all the constituent in this whole city. They are not satisfied with the service. We complaining, we multiply complaint, but nothing never done. But
Okay, go
just
ahead.
to some few, we need to because I'm a Haitian American. In North Miami, Haitian American community, and the percentage we represent more than 30% in the population. So what is done for this majority? None.
So how would you change that? What would you bring into the city to represent the population? How would you change that?
Basically, by bringing values, meaning that we need to educate those people because they don't know what is a civics education mean. They vote, because they pay them. It's sad to say that. If you walk through, if you're conversing right now, you went to any body in the community whose background is in Haitian, they will tell you, I'm gonna vote for you if you give me $200. For me, I see it as a lack of education and civics, because voting is a right to make sure your municipality, to make sure your country is well managed by the well known or well placed people.
So if that's the case and people would vote for whoever gives them money, then how are you going to change that? Because that goes to something, that goes to the fact that that people need money, that they are not broke, but
I,
destitute. How would you change that person's need for that $200?
I
What would you
remember
do for them that
when
would change that?
I remember when Martin Luther King Jr.'s, when planning to have a change in the United States, it took him a lot of time to make people understand their point of view. At the end of the day, this is what it is today. So this is why I have a talk show on radio. My talk show is based on education. I don't take advertisement. All I do is just educate the people why they should vote for who they should vote. And I even explain them how to engage and campaign in order to have more right to fight for the city or the country that they say they love. Anything could be done by we-educated people. And this is what I'm doing.
Okay, so you keep mentioning re-educating, but how are you going to re-educate the people to make them really? What are you going to do to re-educate the people? Are you going to have community programs? Is it just going to be through your talk show, or are you going to do? What are you going to do? Mailers? How are you going to re-educate the people to make them understand the importance of voting?
Basically, I do, now, thank God, we have Visual Social as a really fast way to send the message. And I sent message, and also I sent mails. Um, I do that on my show. So I canvassing as well. When I'm on the street, I take time, opportunity with the citizen to communicate. I'm not just go and ask people just vote for me. I'm on the street. We have a conversation. Tell me what is wrong in your area, because as an elected official, I cannot be everywhere at the same time. That's where you need a relationship between you and the people in order to have a good understanding what happened to the area. But if there is no bond, so I'm just gonna be the boss in the office and doing my own thing, and people still gonna be complaining. They are not satisfied.
All right, but between now and May, because you said your election is in May, right?
Yes, sir.
So between now and May, do you really think that it's possible to re-educate the majority of the residents of North Miami in order to make them understand the importance of voting, and to put that as a priority over the $200 or whatever it is that someone else might be looking to give them? Because I remember back in the day, I'm from Barbados, and I remember back in the day they used to talk about the politicians that promise a chicken in every pot, and stuff like that, and people will vote for you because you promise you're going to put a chicken in every pot. So what are you going to do to change that? That's like tradition, where people actually believe that politicians are going to give them that money or that food or whatever.
That is exactly what I'm doing. That's what I started early. So
Mhm.
compared to May next year, you would say, oh, it's too far. You could take like 6 months, 3 months before the election to do that. No, I said no. I'm doing right now a movement in North Miami. I got people who join me in the movement. We meet together. We explain. I explain our view to other people, and we go out there. We spread the message. The movement is like Corona. We spread it. So we give it to someone, and someone likes it, and they share it to somebody else. So by May next year, I guarantee you, if there is no fake, if there is still values on people's mind, there is no way there won't be a change.
Okay, so, all right. So you mentioned the garbage as one of the things. What else is there in North Miami that you would like to change?
It's a
What?
it's a lot. Like I said, the downtown of Miami, I'm not satisfied with it compared to Miami, a beach city, compared to other city, Allen, Darling, and so on. We could name it. We have only 125th Street as the main, as the downtown area. Even the city hall is 95 years old. So I plan to extend the city. I propose, because I can't do it by myself, because I need other council to make it happen. But I propose that we could extend the city downtown.
Mhm.
Two reasons: more traffic. When I mean traffic, I'm talking about money traffic, because the big company could come and create big corporation in the city. Because
Mhm.
if we extend it, listen to this. If we extend it from 125 Street to 131st Street, it would be a bigger downtown. And secondly, I would propose to have a modern city hall.
Okay, so right now, where are your boundaries from what street to what street? What's your north and your south boundary?
Oh, okay. So my district, because we have to stay on the district. Now, I'm not gonna be able to speak for the whole North Miami, but
Right, your right.
uh, my district started from south on 119th Street.
Okay.
Then he go all the way to north on
Mhm.
145th Street. To east, I'm all the way to West Dixie Highway. To
Mhm.
west, I'm bordering on North Miami Avenue. This is my district, but it is some area I don't mention, because it is a very tricky district, because they caught it, the way they caught it. You have to be, once I'm on the street, I know where to go. But the whole area, this is what I mentioned right now, that's the circle for the district.
Right, but the other areas that are cut, that's like when they were doing redlining and things like that in order to cut certain areas. So you're saying that your district is predominantly West Indian, correct?
Say that again.
Your district is predominantly West Indian or predominantly Caribbean?
We have mostly in my district is Caribbean. We
Okay.
have, right. We have few Hispanic, and we have few of every other ethnicity, but mostly Caribbean. Correct.
Okay, so in your area, then, how much of those people are actually registered to vote? Are you doing a voters registration? Are you doing? I mean, because there's a lot that we see. Again, like I said, I know a lot of people that are here, and they may have a green card or whatever. But so if that's the case, and you have that kind of a population, what does your voter pool look like?
Yeah, basically, yes, I did that as I'm experienced in that, because that's my second time, third time running for the same district. So I know how many people who's registered to vote, how many houses registered to vote in my district. Uh, just not to be too details. Basically, you need approximately 600 houses to be elected in my
600 houses.
houses, correct.
So,
And guess what?
uh-huh.
I have to say that because people in my district they are not really involved in politics. They are registered to vote because they feel sad, they feel embarrassed for how politics is done in the area. So they decided not to get involved of the politics. But you just need approximately 100 1000 one 1,600 vote to get elected.
So how many residents do you have in that area altogether? If all you need 1,600 votes, you only need 1,600?
Correct.
And how many residents do you have in that district?
I have more than 6,000 registered to vote.
Okay, so wow. That's okay. So there's 6,000 registered to vote in your district, but you only need 1,600. How? So how many do you really have right now that are backing you? What is it that you're looking at? I mean, I don't even know how to word the question because
Tell you,
with the 1,600 people that you need, that
tell you
sounds
election
like
that the last election that I went to, I lost for 200 votes. My opponent beat me with 800 votes, and I made 600.
mm, I see. So it's whoever gets the most out of those 1,600.
Of course.
Okay. And you said this is your third time running, right?
Correct.
And how was it the first time? What was the point spread the first time?
First time I was new and I didn't know the people in politics in this area because it's all about money. Because I was fresh and new. Um, that was it. Second time, they realized that I am a real problem for the system. Okay, for the system. Therefore, so they have to use any how to stop me. And now, people because they thought that once I lose the election, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna lose faith. But I'm a fighter. I'm a son of Martin Luther King. I have a dream, and my dream is not for me. It's for the city of North Miami. So they realize that I'm still standing, and this is what it is.
All right. So let's see. This is. I'm still shocked on the only needing 1,600, or actually only needing because you only need more than 50%, 50% plus one. So you only
Correct.
need 801 votes to win.
That's what I told you. I lost for 200 votes.
That is like wow. So why aren't more people running for councilman? Why aren't we seeing more black people running for these positions?
Well, listen, like I said, this is the most Caribbean area, and that
Mhm.
election, I have to tell you that it was three candidates, me and three other opponents. So
Wow.
that's
So
that.
so the third person really didn't get many votes then.
No, it's a low turn election always, and this is why, like I said, I'm doing a movement right now. I'm targeting different groups,
Mhm.
get them involved and raise their voice because they keep talking in a low profile. I tell them, listen, this is the time for you to speak because they wanna hear from you.
Okay, so what would you say to the person who's sitting there that is thinking like yesterday I had Gary on the show and Gary everyone keeps telling he should run for councilman or something in his city. What would you say to someone like Gary that that's not sure if he should run?
Listen, United States is a really nice country where we have democracy. If you believe that, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you on the show. If I seen someone has a better plan than me, I don't mind to back up my candidacy
Mhm.
because it's not me or I want to make money because I'm in my office. I make enough to be able to leave, but because I don't like the way they doing things, and I do believe we need to change the reality for the people with the people, and involve myself in this politics thing.
So what does the position like that one pay? So you said you're not in it for the money. What does the position like that one pay for a councilman? And I know it's public record. We could look it up on Google. you know.
Of, of course, of course. Before it wasn't that, but now they raise it. The last council, who was there? They raise it to mayor. It's $80,000, and council member is $66,000, include health insurance and other things. But it's the package.
And how long is the term for? Is it 4 years or 2 years?
For the mayor, it's 4 years. For the council member, it's 8 years. But there
Eight
is
years.
a rumor says that they wanna extend it because they wanna make it like I believe 3 time, or 3 or 4 time. But that's rumor, so I don't wanna mention it. But right now, it is 2 terms. Yes, correct.
Wow, that's good. That's very good. All right.
But it's a part-time position. It is
Right.
a part-time position. But politician that we have now, they made it become a full-time position.
And really, it should be because you should be serving the people all the time. It
But
should.
it's
It should be.
not
Mhm.
that. But it's not just to serve the people. It's to make profit for themselves. But it is bad. If you do it full time, more than full time, to serve the people, I would understand that. But do it for your own benefits. It's really sad, but
All right, and so your area right now, what is it that you're doing for fund? How are you doing your meet and greets, your town halls? Is there something that you'd like to say to the viewers so that they can come out? Well, not
yeah,
necessarily come out, but can they support you in somehow? How can they support you right now?
they could support me because I have all my name One Cito Friendships Campaign 2021 on social media, either Twitter, either Facebook, either LinkedIn. This is the same name. Also on 4th of July, I'm gonna have a barbecue, open door barbecue with respect of the COVID-19, which is respect the ordinances they spread around the cities, 6 feet. You need to respect that. And also have a mask on when you come to the barbecue.
Mhm.
Come have some good time. Whatever you want to bring, it's up to you. You're free. You could bring it, and a team of my campaign, they will be happy to collect that from you because we have a bank account where we do everything legit. So we respect for two election. We never been cited for not following the laws because we are a law follower. So I invited them on 4th of July at my house, which is 55 Northeast 130th Street, same area, North Miami, Florida 33161. Come and have a good time at 5 to 10 because still we have to stay in the space where the government say after 10 you can't be on the street. I don't want anybody to be in trouble because of me, because they like me. No, we have to respect the law. Correct. We have to respect the law because they created the law for us to well organize. Okay?
All
I
right.
end.
So let's go to another thing now. So we're seeing everything that's happening now in the country, where the police and the citizens and police brutality and all these different things. How would you help to curb that if it were to happen in your city? How would you how would you attack that? And not only that, but let's go back a little bit more. What about cases that have happened in your city that were swept under the rug? Would you go back and look at some of those, or what are you doing on that point?
Basically, that's a good point, because as of now, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular citizen, but I have a good relationship with the chief of police of North Miami. So we communicate. When I see stuff in my area, I call him and I explain to him. We sit down together. We try to solve solution together. Okay. Basically, I know the police department need more money I believe in education, to educate, because we need to attack the racism and the different aspect. I lower my voice when I said that, because racism is not only the right, it's everywhere. We need to understand what is the police officer job, what is the citizen right. So we need to re-educate those people. Therefore, I would vote to bring more money to my police department for specific reason, education, how to, because some officers, they work over hours, over shift.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a psychological problem.
Well, are you looking to put more money into the police, or just reallocate the money that's already there? Because the police departments are already very well funded. It's just, in my opinion, it's just more of a matter of allocation of funds.
The money is not the problem. It's how they have the money, what they do with the money. Just mention, relocate the money on some subject to another, because they need more education. They need more connection with the city, with the people.
And
Because
that,
as of now, there is no connection at all with the police officer and the citizen. Because the law is not there to make me scared. The law is there to make me do the right things.
well, see, and that's the thing, though. So how do you change that? How would you, and like you just said, you're friends with the chief of police. How would you then help him to make his officers see that they shouldn't be there to make the people scared? Because really, that's what happens. You know, people come, the police officer drive through, and people aren't thinking, oh, well, he's protecting the servant. People are thinking, I'm scared. I want to know what's going to happen. And we're going to be honest, straightforward. It's normally the Black community, because when they ride through different communities, they're there to protect and serve. When they ride through the Black community, they're there to arrest and take to jail most of the times. So how would you, being friends with the chief of police, help to change that? And would you also look at maybe the police officers that patrol your area? Should they live in that area so that they could get an idea of what happens in that area?
Let me be honest with you, as a elected official, council member, I don't have the right on the police officer, on the chief of police as well. But
Right.
the people choosing me to represent them, to review the case in front of the council members and give my opinion. Basically, right now, people says that it's enough. It's enough with what we call police brutality. There is no tolerance on that with police brutality. I may be wrong, but the laws draft the way the officer has to treat me as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, as an elected official, I will review it and bring my suggestions in front of the council and act to make sure police brutality is stopped. Secondly, we could propose that to hire more qualified people in the community. Because if you live in the community, you won't attack anyone in the community. because they know your house, stuff like that. You would be scared, not because they're gonna burn your house or kill you or whatever, but you do market in the same place as them, so they're gonna see you. So there will be like a will connection. We would think, why?
Well, it's not even that, because it's not a matter of you're going to be scared. It's more that you're going to respect the person that lives in your community. So
Yes,
you're not going to be scared of the person attacking you or your house or anything. But because you live there, you have a different respect for the person that lives next door to you, and a different respect for the person that you see him, and you know him, you know his wife, his kids, you know these different people. So if you know these people live in your area, you have a different respect than a person that, let's say, for example, lives up in Palm Beach and is patrolling North Miami, and they live in Palm Beach in $500,000 house, and then they come down to North Miami, and then they say, oh well, and they already have a preconceived notion of what these people are when they're really not what they assume them to be.
of course.
You know.
That's correct. That's the type of thing that I will propose with my colleagues, and to make sure we have a fair, meaning that whatever is your color, you violate the law, you violate the law. But they have to treat you with respect until you are guilty and you go into jail.
And that's the way it should be, but we know that that's not the way it is.
That's what I'm saying. As my responsibility, if the people vote for me, I'm gonna make sure that's happened, because I don't have no right on the police, on the chief of police as a council member, because the person who designed to have control of the chief of the police office, of the city, is the city manager. So we could ask the city manager to bring in front of us the chief of police and his staff for what he's doing, because we have to explain that to the people to understand, because I got elected. I'm not the big boss, so I can call the chief of police and I said, okay, I want to fire you. It doesn't work like that.
Well, it kind of does, because as a city council, and the city council, and not just you as one council person, but the council itself, you guys actually have the you have the authority to now meet with what do you call it, the city manager, and then you can go from there.
Right.
It's not that you're going to just say you're fired, but you actually have the
You
authority
could.
to put pressure on them. So I have there's a comment on here. What happens when the police break the laws in your community? How would you demand how would you demand reform for your constituents?
Basically, we plan to have town hall meeting, and those topics, we need to listen to people's voice, and then bring expert to analyze people's voice and come up with solution. We're not gonna just stay just to please the listener or watcher, that we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, because we have to check this chapter, what is allow me to do, what is not. Because you just mentioned something earlier, you know, to fire either the chief or the city manager, it would cost the city some money, because they are hired on contract. Sometimes 2 years contract, sometimes 3 years contract, sometimes 1 year contract. If for some reason why you fired the police officer is not in the clause, it would be a problem for the city. The city would be liable. So therefore, we need to act as professional, because there is technician and those things. So those things, once I get elected, I will listen to people's voice, do town hall meeting, and bring experts to listen to them and see how we could cope it with the law and bring a better solution.
Right, but even going back to the contracts that you're mentioning, there are clauses in these contracts, and if that police officer or the chief of the police is doing his or her job, then they would be following all these clauses. If they break the contract, then that doesn't cost the city any money because that person broke their contract. If their contract says something like, you're not going to use drugs, and you catch that person using cocaine, then they broke their contract. They don't get paid for that. And so the thing is, as long as the person is doing what he or she's supposed to do, then he or she doesn't get a payout when they lose their job. Because the thing is, it goes back to the same thing. The same now, police accountability is on two sides. The same way a person doesn't expect to be shot or beat up or there's a knee in their neck or whatever, if the police is doing their job, then that police officer shouldn't expect to be fired or whatever for doing their job, as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do. But it's only when they go outside of what they're supposed to do. There's another comment. What about these families who need a town hall to analyze their loss? Do we need a town hall to analyze their loss? And they're talking about, of course, there's a link here of police brutality from Miami and different parts of Miami. So this is the thing. I mean, we have been having town halls for years. We've been having, all different kind of meetings with City Hall, with different people, and not just in North Miami. We're talking about all over the United States. Been having a lot of talking, but people are still dying. So the talking is obviously not solving it, because what's happening is police officers are thinking that everyone has their back.
Is
Again,
the diff-
if
is
they're
the
doing their job, we have their back.
here's
Go
the
ahead.
diff- here's the difference that I want to make by getting on the dais. The difference is just that not having the town hall meeting. We're gonna have town hall meeting, but I'm gonna bring expert to act and act fast
But
because
and not to interrupt you, but you know what? Everyone is always saying they're going to bring experts, and I just had this conversation with another friend of mine yesterday, not on the show, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about that. Most of the times when they say experts, they're talking about a person with a degree, whether the person has a PhD or this or that or whatever, but that person never lived it. So that person might be an expert on paper, but everything looks good on paper. But you need to hear from the people who are actually living it. If you have 20 people come to you and tell you that Officer Brown, and I don't know if there's an Officer Brown, so if there is actually an Officer Brown in your area, I'm not picking up him or her. I'm just using an excuse. But if you have 30 or 40 people come and tell you that Officer Brown harassed them, pulled them over for no reason, beat them up, whatever, you don't need an expert to tell you that there's a problem with Officer Brown, because you already have 30 or 40 people in your area telling you that.
listen, people who live in North Miami, they know me. Once I have evidence, because evidence could be, like you said, 40 people, it's evidence. Because 40 people cannot complaining against one person at the same time. As a council member, I'm gonna stand on the bench and express my feeling for my citizen, for the people that I represent on the DIs. So I would ask them and put the part of the people. If they protect the people, they need to act on their favor. This is what I plan to do. I'm not gonna go just sit down and say yes or no, but I'm gonna bring issues and come up with solution right in the air with the issue.
So how many people sit on the city council?
5.
Okay, so basically then you need a majority vote on everything. You need 3
Correct.
on most things.
Why?
So mhm.
That is why you see I am so cautious on how I said I'm gonna do things, because politicians always say they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, but they never see the the barrier they have to have the good thing done. And this is why I told you at the beginning, there's a huge difference between politician and the public servant.
All right. So, all right. And now, as far as other things go in your community, we already spoke about the police department. We already spoke about the trash collection, which you have proposals on how you're going to make changes. What else is there in your community that you would make a change about?
Basically, again, education, because there is a discretionary fund all the elected officials have, and
Mhm.
for me, they misuse it. And I will propose, we take that fund, we spend on people education, business education. Caribbean doesn't have like in the North Miami a, a multi-million business. Why? Probably they don't have a booster. Some people they need a booster. The booster could be $300,000. The booster could be $500,000. It could be different. How about we have an organization named CRA in North Miami
Right.
that it has millions and millions of dollars stored at the bank. What they do, and
Well,
I will
no,
review and educate the people. If they are comply with the law, propose that we give them money to spend in the area, hired people in the area, and we have a better city.
well, you also look at, and I'm glad that you brought up CRA because you also have to look at the funds that the CRA has available to them and how they allocate those funds, how they disperse those funds because
That's
they make
that's
it so
that's what we're talking about.
well, they make it so hard sometimes for the average person to get those funds because I mean it's like you have to jump through so many hoops in order to get the money to either start your business or grow your business. So that's one of the reasons why there's so much money left back, and also why you start to see only major companies and organizations getting that money. So that goes back to the same thing of the circle of poverty, because if the opportunity is not available, but I have a great idea of something I want to do, then that money isn't there. My idea is over here. There's that wide disconnect between my idea and the money that's available to me. My idea will never come to fruition because it's hard to get that money. So that's another thing that you would need to look into, because again, if you live in a city that you see that the majority of the people in your city don't own things, that should tell you a little bit about something about the money that's available and also the way the contracts are being distributed. A lot of times a person goes for a contract and they're told no, but then a bigger company gets the contract and subcontracts the same person that you told no.
Correct.
So it's like, if I'm not good enough to do the job, how comes I'm good enough to do the job if you give it to John and then John hires me? It's almost like it's not my ability, it's just me that you were saying no to.
Yeah,
So things that you would need to look into as
that,
well.
that's exactly what the language that we are talking about. I will review the policies. I will
Mhm.
review it with people who knows, because I have a background in criminal justice. I'm graduate Florida International University as a BA, and I started my law school in St. Thomas University, but I'm not a lawyer. I have to respect that. But I need to see a lawyer connected with the community, could capable to check the chapter of the city, and to make it really easy for the people in North Miami to be able to do a big corporation. You would be surprised. In North Miami, we don't have a good restaurant of like a nine restaurant, like 24 hours good restaurant. Listen to me. I'm not saying there is no good restaurant. I'm talking about a 24 hours good restaurant. Like, let's say I want to invite you, Steve, to my just to North Miami at 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's say we want to take a shot together, right? I can't
Mhm.
do that in North Miami.
Well, well, here's the thing. Okay, so going back to the same thing, I'm pretty sure you have residents in your area that are right now saying, "Oh my God, I could do that. I have a great idea for a restaurant," but the money isn't available to them.
This is what I'm telling you. I'm gonna question it, review it, and bring it to the council. So therefore, we're gonna we're gonna debate on it. If I win with facts, they have to vote for me.
Mhm.
This is like a debate. It's not what I believe. We come up with facts, with evidence. Hey, listen, this is what is good for the community, because we have to look at that as the elected official. How much money the city would make on taxes if they spent 20,000, $200,000, instead
Mhm.
of having that money and at the bank not doing anything.
Well, let me ask you, how many black-owned businesses do you have in North Miami right now?
You, if we have few and they are not well organized, that's the bad thing. That's why I came up to earlier with the point I told you to do seminar and to do workshop for them, educate them how to do business. How we have like 10 businesses, we could merge them in one, and it would be like a multi-million one business where they have shares. They could share the shares profits to each and everybody.
Well, I have two more comments that just popped up on the screen. One of them is, once elected, can you mention some of the specific solutions that you will propose to bring actions to the current situations in North Miami?
The answer is yes. How I'm gonna use the people as a weapon on those people, on my colleagues who don't want to vote with me, because you need the constituent to go and tell them, hey, vote for me because I'm gonna do this. Hey, if you can't, if something is good for them, you don't want to vote for them, how come you work canvassing and ask them to vote for you?
Now, the other comment that I have here is, do you have any solutions to support to support, retain, and create black businesses in North Miami?
Of course, I'm as right now I'm working with a couple experts, how to bring new business in this area, which is gonna be profitable for the individuals and the city. Of course, we
But
have.
see, here's the thing. But here's the thing. You keep referring to experts, but the people are telling you what they want. So you're spending money on experts to tell you what the people are already telling you. Because if the people are telling, let's look at it this way. Let's look at it. If the people are saying that they want a barbecue restaurant, we don't need an expert to come in and do some work and then come back and say we should put a barbecue restaurant over here, because the people are already telling you what you want, what they want. I think what you guys need to do, and not just North Miami, I'm talking about politicians in general, because I've had this conversation with other politicians. I think what politicians need to do is listen to what the people are saying, and instead of telling the people what you want them to hear, because the people are not children, and that's what politicians tend to treat the people like children. They tend to tell you, I'm going to tell you what's good for you, and that's it. But no, the people are telling you what they want.
Steve, let me tell you something. You know, one thing you need to understand is this. Sometimes people could tell you they want this, but because they don't have knowledge on what they want, there's some stuff they can't see. That's why I told you, I take their advice, I take what they bring to me, but I have to analyze it, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with the government money. I can't say, oh, I was wrong, I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
We need to make a decision where we have a clear understanding it's gonna be working. It
Let me
it
ask you a question.
it could not work in, regardless we have some fact. but we cannot just go by what they say.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you want for lunch? What are you gonna have for lunch today, Juancito?
My wife prepared me lunch, and we have some at-home eggs and bread for breakfast. Correct.
Okay, I think you should go and get barbecue chicken for lunch today because I'm Steve and I know what's best for you. So you're gonna get barbecue chicken. So throw that in the garbage and you go out there and you buy yourself some barbecue chicken.
I feel what you're saying.
That
I feel
doesn't that doesn't sound right, does it?
it
And
doesn't.
but that's basically what you're saying. You're saying the people aren't educated enough to make a decision for themselves.
No,
So my whole thing is if you're bringing across, you're telling me what you're going to have for lunch, and I'm going to tell you what you should have for lunch. I'm going to tell you I know better than you what you should have for lunch.
here's the thing.
Chicken.
Here's the thing. The thing is, you tell me to eat barbecue, but there's
Because
certain
I know
time.
what's best for you. I know what's best for you, so I'm telling you chicken barbecue is better for you.
But you have to tell me why. Why? Listen to me.
Chicken
Why?
is
Because
protein.
barbecue cannot be eat for lunch.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. So
It's a
so
very complicated topics that you bring. It is different than when you're dealing with people ideas, because they have the idea. Okay. Some people they say, "Oh, I'm gonna open this business." They just have like a blind side. They see only on one eye profit, but they don't see when the profit gonna come, because the profit not gonna be automatic. It's gonna be like drafted like from period of time. This is when I'm gonna need an expert to tell me, okay, they want this. When profit gonna come on it? Because profit not gonna come at the same
but
time.
but that's the thing. That's not the city's business though. A person comes to the city with a business plan and they say, "This is my plan," and that's it. Because I guarantee you, the businesses that you're giving money to right now, no one is worrying about that. I can guarantee you, if you look at the businesses that are getting that CRA money right now, this minute, and you look at the businesses that you're giving contracts to, no one is sitting and scrutinizing all these things, because I'll tell you,
Right.
most of the money that you see that they're giving out, the CRA money and all these different money and the regentification money and things of that sort, what they do is they'll put something in the community for only the period of time that the contract says it. So if your contract says that they need to have this business in the community for 4 years, they're going to put it for 4 years and close it because they've already exhausted the money. But as long as that money stops, a lot of times they stop.
But let me
Say time and time again.
behind those deals, there's other deals. This is what I wanted to stop. Behind these deals, there's other deals. So that's why they don't care about if they're making profit, because you have to look at it that way. The money that the city invests, they need to collect tax. They need to be the money must be able to create more development in the city.
No, and let's go. Let me. I'll challenge that as well, because most of the major city companies that come in, if they're big enough company, they get tax breaks. They'll get 10 years of tax breaks, 15 years of tax breaks, 20 years of tax breaks, where they don't pay taxes because they're going to consider it an anchor business. And then the companies that come in behind them and follow them, they may pay taxes, but a lot of times it ends up that the city is paying big companies to come in. I'm telling you, what you're looking at is you're looking at the small business and what's wrong with the small business, when in actuality the big business is doing the same thing, if not worse, and no one says anything when they do it. So when you find, let's say for example, a liquor store, well, not a liquor store. Let's say, for example, Subway or Jimmy John's or whatever comes into the community, because you gave Jimmy John's $100,000 to come in, and then Jimmy John's closes in 5 years and say, well, we tried, but the people didn't really want it. Jimmy John's is not going to give you your money back. Jimmy John's is going to keep that money. So if a smaller company did that, you would say, "Oh wow, they cheated the government." But when Jimmy John's does it, we say, "Oh well, that's just business. It's the same thing." So we have to give the smaller man the same opportunity that we're giving Jimmy John's and the others. And the small guy isn't even asking for 100,000.
Steve,
The
I
small guy only asked for 5 or 10,000.
Steve, I believe you and I, we are in the same shoes, and it's what I want in the city of North Miami. I'm. This is a reality that I'm living right now. I live in North Miami. I have a business in North Miami. I never qualified for anything, but I wanted the same procedure applied for so and business is the same criteria applied to my business. There used to be like a security contract in the city. I my business in this city. I've been complying with the city rules and regulations, but I apply. They don't even call me, but they give it to another company, which is not which is not a Caribbean a company. It's a so and so big company. They give it to that big company. Of course, you talking about my reality in North Miami. So I live it, and I'm
Right.
not against the people, or instead, I'm gonna try to fix it. And that's why I'm telling you at the beginning, I'm gonna use the people voice as the weapon.
But see, but that's the thing though. So right now, what you're talking about, you're saying that you experienced the same thing, but yet you're telling me that your answer to it is to educate the people. So that would imply that the person giving out the contract thought that you weren't educated enough to get that contract, because your whole thing is you want to educate the people to get the contracts, but yet you didn't get one. Do you start to think that maybe it's just some of that systemic racism that we're seeing that is stopping a lot of the black companies from growing in the area when the white companies are able to come in and do the same thing?
Yes,
You think could be the issue?
Let me for a minute. I'm in my office.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's it's happened.
But
Yes,
so, do you think that that could be part of the issue where we're seeing the systemic racism that is stopping you and other people from getting that contract that some of our white counterparts are able to get, even though they may not have as good of a business plan? Because I mean, honestly, I've been to North Miami. I used to live in now what's called Miami Gardens. Back then, it was unincorporated Dade County over by Scott Park. Oh, I went to school in Orland High School, so I know North Miami and I know the area that you're talking about. And the businesses, you go down there, and I can guarantee you that you're going to see less than 10% of the businesses, probably less than 2% of the businesses in North Miami are black-owned businesses.
yes, yes. But that's what I'm telling you. Even though we have less than 2%, but even the 2%, they don't operate properly.
But who's
Government,
they're not operating
government have
properly?
not.
Because now we're holding them to a different level than we're
Yes,
holding the other companies. Are you auditing the other companies to tell them that they're not operating properly?
of course we will do that.
No, you're not, because I'm telling you again. I go through North Miami. I know North Miami. I know the area,
See,
and
we're talking about a different plan, not the plan that is in place. I'm talking about once I get elected,
mm,
because that's the understanding that I see from you. You compare me to others because I'm trying to bring a different view. That's the reality.
so tell me your plan that would be different then.
My plan, like I said at the beginning, it's bring the business of the city to the people, meaning that spend money in the business first, do workshop. Second, after the workshop, they comply to what they supposed to do, how they supposed to do business, and give them money to have black minority funds to have better business in the city, and to have a better reality compared to what we have now. That's the plan that I'm gonna propose.
Okay,
Versus
so,
we have now, what we have now, it's who you know, what is the skin of your collar, and they give you money.
okay, so I have another comment on here now that where someone is asking, what about the growing issues of gentrification in in Miami, and the displacement of Black residents? So what's going to happen when we start seeing that in the North Miami area? What is your plan for the gentrification in that area,
Yes.
and pushing out the Black residents that have been there for generations in some cases?
Okay. So the listener asked the question for Miami. Let's bring it to North Miami.
Right.
Um, a couple months ago, we have a lot on 135 35th Street, between Third Court. We, as a resident, we said that we don't want no businesses in this corner. To bring the story, Walmart would like to bring Walmart to this area. We say no. Then they bring uh, um question for a Wendy's restaurant. We said this is a residential area. We don't want those type of business in this area. We need houses. The council m- member right now, who's in place right now, she decided to vote against the people, and at the end, she even stated that because you vote for me doesn't mean that I have to do what you want. That's the And here's what I was saying. That's why I said we need to listen to people's voice. And guess what? My first houses used to be in this area. I want
Mm.
to accept that because I live in this area, because I live in North Miami. So whatever I do, I protect. I protect it for people and for me too, because I
Mhm.
have interest. This is we. I'm gonna propose that we have a big gap in North Miami between the east side and the west side. I'm gonna propose that we create houses development and decide, because we have a couple lots still empty. Instead of give it to people for commercial use, we give it to people for really nothing, like they did it for Biskin lending. We're not gonna go to that on this show because this project itself could take a whole show to bring it less than $10 acre of value. Well, while the land was extremely really there's a big chaos on this project. But let's compare. It's already done. That's the reality. It's already
Mhm.
done. So let's compare the east side to the west side. Bring more houses to the west side, okay?
Okay.
With the CRA money.
But again, we still have to make one of the things that you would need to do when you get elected is make it easier for people to qualify for that CRA money, because
Consider
that's the reason why there's so much money sitting there, because it's hard to qualify for that money. No matter,
it
you
done.
could, you jump through all the hoops, you have the credit, you have this, you have that, and there's always a reason why you didn't qualify.
Let
One
me tell
person, one person they're going to say it's your credit. Next person they're going to say it's your business plan. The next person, and there's always a reason why. It's almost like the CRA money stands for, like, you can't really access that money or something. I don't know.
me tell you something. I compare right now the SBA loan to CRA money. SBA used to be the most difficult area to qualify for a loan.
Mhm.
Now, at this moment, this is the easiest way to get qualified for a loan from SBA. They don't care. As
Mm.
long as it's only five things they ask you, and easy things. So this is the this is the type of example that I'm gonna take and bring it to North Miami.
All right. All right. I really enjoyed you being on the show, and I know I put you through a lot, and you were able to come back with the answers for them. I really enjoy you being on the show. Okay.
It is my pleasure, Steve. Like I said, let me conclude with that. The
Okay.
different politicians, they tell you what you wanna hear. They tell you they not even able to do for you, but this is what you wanna hear. They tell you this. But public servant, they do what is good, regardless you may not like it. Because I'm not here for me, I'm here for you. Sometimes it's not because I treat you as a baby. Sometimes there's some angle I may see you don't see. We discuss and we come up with solution. So the solution that we come up with is gonna be you and I, meaning that me as an elected official and the people. We debate, we discuss, we may argue, we even argue. You could curse me out, but we're not gonna leave without a solution, which gonna be peaceful for the community, the whole community. Not for you, not for me, but for the whole community.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show, and good luck with your race. All right. And
Thank you.
and definitely we're gonna have to get you back on the show again between now and then.
Thank you, sir. May God bless you.
God bless you as well.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Hey guys, so we had Juancito on the show. He was giving us the information about his race and the different things that he has planned for the city if he should win. And look, again, like I always tell you guys, question your candidates. You want to hit them with the hard questions. You don't want to just do the easy questions and then just go, okay, well, no. You want the hard questions. You want to know what's going to happen if they should win. What's going to happen? All these different things. You want to be able to ask the tough questions and get answers for them. All right. If any of you guys are candidates out there, you want to be on the show, regardless of where you live, anywhere that you live. I don't care where you live, because your viewers are probably, your constituents are probably viewers and they're watching. So no matter where you live or whatever it is that you're running for, definitely reach out to me. You can go to lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com. You can book your candidate interview there. Let's go ahead and make this happen. All right. We need to get more informed about our candidates, and we need to be able to hear what it is that they have planned when they win. All right. So anyhow, guys, as always, thank you guys very much for watching Lunchtime Talk with Steve. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. Go out there and help someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Pick up the phone and call them. Say, hey, what's going on? How you doing? If there's someone, I just saw in the news today that they were doing the food line, and they're giving out free food again down in Miami, here in Barrow County, and I'm sure they're doing it all over the country. But again, all I'm saying is like a ton of cars lined up for half a mile, even as far as a mile in one location. What about the people that are walking, catch the bus? If you know someone in your area that is walking or catching the bus or whatever, and they can't get to that food line, pick up the food for them or pick them up and take them. Help them out, all right? You are your brother's keeper. Let's see what we can do about making this happen, all right? We're in this together. All right, guys, again, as always, it's been great. It's been fun. Get out there, do a random act of kindness for a stranger. You are your brother's keeper. Peace, people.
La